Imagine, if you will, a small California mountain town.
Okay.
It's April 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Like peaceful pines, fresh air.
Yeah, idyllic.
But inside Cabin 28, something truly horrifying is happening.
Ah.
A single mother, Sue Sharp, and her teenage son, John, they're murdered
Oh my gosh.
brutally.
Terrible.
Their friend, Dina Wingate, also killed.
Mm-hmm.
And to make things even more chilling, Sue's 12-year-old daughter, Tina,
Yeah.
she's gone, vanished.
Wow.
But here's the part that just twists everything.
Okay.
3 young boys, 2 of them Sue's sons,
Mm-hmm.
they're found in the cabin, unharmed.
Unharmed.
Seems they slept through it all.
Oh my God, how is that even possible?
Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Crime series. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
So this case, the Keddie Cabin Murders, it's been decades.
Right.
And it's still unsolved.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that just gets under your skin.
I bet.
You have this peaceful mountain town, a family looking for a fresh start.
Yeah.
And then, bam, this brutal violence.
It's just so senseless.
And what makes it even more perplexing is that there's no clear motive.
Right. That's what makes the Keddie Cabin Murders so fascinating, though. It's like,
Yeah.
on the one hand, you have this horrible crime,
Right.
the loss of life, the family torn apart.
Yeah.
But then there's this other side, the investigators working so hard, the community trying to find answers, this hope that maybe someday there'll be justice.
Okay, so let's try to unpack all of this.
Okay.
Starting with that cabin,
Okay.
Cabin 28. What was it like when investigators got there?
Well, it was chaos, just pure violence.
Yeah.
The victims, they were in the living room, bound with electrical wire and medical tape.
Both.
Yeah.
Oh.
Furniture was overturned, blood everywhere on the walls, the floor.
Jeez.
It was a bad scene.
Can you even imagine the terror they must have felt?
It's just awful.
And the use of both wire and tape. That's strange, right?
Yeah, that's a question that's always bothered investigators.
I bet
Does it mean they planned it out, Or did they just use whatever was lying around?
that's like which is scarier.
Right. Planning it or that level of, impulsive rage.
Exactly.
It's chilling either way.
And then there were multiple weapons too, right?
Yeah, a hammer and a knife.
A hammer and a knife.
So that does point to maybe more than one attacker.
Yeah.
Maybe each had a specific role, a terrible role.
God.
And then you have Tina just gone. It's like,
Yeah.
Was she the target from the beginning?
Right.
Or was it something that happened because of what was going on in that cabin?
And she was just taken away so meticulously.
Yeah.
Like they knew what they were doing.
It really does make you think about how these things can happen,
Yeah.
even in a place that seems so safe.
Like how can you ever truly feel secure?
Right. It's unsettling.
But let's talk about the investigation itself.
Yeah.
What did law enforcement do first?
Well, the Plumas County Sheriff's Department, they really had their work cut out for them. The cabin was remote, no witnesses, and forensic technology back then, it wasn't what it is today.
So it was like solving a puzzle with missing pieces.
Yeah, pretty much.
So where did they even begin? Were there any suspects early on?
Well, there was one neighbor, Martin Smart, who stood out.
Mhm.
He had a history of strange behavior, and there were rumors of him saying things about Sue Sharp.
Bad things.
Yeah, not good things.
So there was a history between them.
It's hard to say for sure, though, what exactly it was.
Okay.
Some say it was a romantic thing gone wrong. Others say it was about property or belongings. Who knows?
So many rumors swirling around.
But it happens.
But okay, this Smart guy, did they find anything concrete tying him to the cabin?
Nope. No fingerprints, no DNA, nothing putting him at the scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So a dead end?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
Years later, it came out that Smart had supposedly confessed to the murders.
Wait, what?
Yeah, in therapy.
Hold on, wouldn't that be, confidential?
You'd think so, right?
Yeah, but somehow the information got out.
Oh, wow.
Maybe the therapist only said something after Smart died.
Makes sense.
Or maybe the confession itself was unclear, maybe influenced by his mental state.
So maybe not reliable.
Exactly.
So a possible confession, but shrouded in doubt.
Yeah, and it adds another layer to the whole question of motive.
Right. Like, even if he did it, why?
Was it a personal grudge against Sue or something else entirely?
It's just another question mark in this whole thing.
Exactly.
But Smart wasn't the only one they looked at, was he?
No, there was another guy, Bubaid?
Bubede.
Yeah, he was friends with Smart.
Okay.
And like Smart, he had a bit of a past.
What kind of past?
Some say he was involved in theft, maybe even violence.
Huh.
Again, it's all a bit murky, the details.
So we have two guys, both connected to Sue Sharp, both with shady pasts.
Yeah. It's definitely suspicious.
But did they ever find anything actually linking Booby to the murders?
Nope, nothing solid. He had an alibi, and while it wasn't the strongest, they couldn't completely disprove it either.
So 2 promising leads, and both lead to dead ends.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Right.
It really makes you wonder if they were barking up the wrong tree entirely.
I mean, it's possible.
And all this time, the real killer is out there somewhere.
That's the scary part.
But there were some glimmers of hope, weren't there?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What were those?
Well, the discovery of Tina's remains, for one.
Right, that was years later, and miles away from Keddie.
Yeah, it was tragic, but it did offer some new insights.
What kind of insights?
It solidified the idea that her disappearance was directly linked to the murders.
Like it was all part of the plan.
Yeah, not just some random abduction.
It's terrifying to think about.
It is.
But did they find any forensic evidence with her remains? Anything that could crack the case?
Sadly, no.
Oh, man.
Too much time had passed. The elements had done their damage.
So no DNA, no fibers, nothing.
Nothing that could really help the investigation.
It's like the killer just vanished. It really is.
So frustrating, you know. It's like justice is slipping further and further away.
It's hard not to feel that way.
But people didn't give up, did they?
Oh, no, not at all.
What happened?
Well, the Keddie Cabin Murders, they kind of became this, obsession
For who?
for everyone, really. Armchair detectives, podcasters, you name it.
Wow.
Everyone wanted to solve it.
I guess some mysteries just have that pull, huh?
They really do.
But did any of those independent investigations actually turn up anything new?
No major breakthroughs, no.
Oh,
But they did keep the case in the public eye.
okay.
They generated new tips, and most importantly, they kept the victims' memories alive.
That's important.
Yeah, sometimes justice needs that push from the public.
Makes sense. But what about the official investigation? Did it ever get revived?
They did, actually.
Really? What happened?
Forensic technology, it finally caught up.
You mean like DNA testing and stuff?
Exactly.
Wow, so after all those years, there was hope again. Yeah, they started re-examining old evidence from the crime scene, stuff they thought was useless before.
So they thought maybe they could finally find the killer's DNA.
That was the hope.
It's amazing how science can change things, huh?
It really is.
So what kind of DNA samples did they have?
Bloodstains, hair fibers, even touch DNA on some of the objects?
Like from the weapons?
Possibly, yeah.
Did any of it lead anywhere?
Well, nothing was ever officially confirmed,
Hmm.
but there were rumors
About what?
that they got some hits, you know.
DNA matches.
Yeah, maybe not a perfect match, but enough to give them new leads.
So they could at least rule some people out.
Exactly.
Or maybe focus on new suspects.
All right.
It's like, even if they didn't get the answer, they were getting closer.
That's progress, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Every little bit helps in a case like this.
It's just all those years without knowing.
I-
It must be so hard for the families.
Yeah, not knowing is the worst.
But let's talk about those families, especially the boys who were in the cabin that night.
Yeah, the ones who survived.
What happened to them?
Not much is known publicly.
Really?
They've mostly stayed out of the spotlight.
I guess that makes sense. They went through something horrific.
Imagine the trauma.
I can't even begin to. So
Yeah.
young. And to see that,
It's hard to even think about.
it's a burden no one should ever have to bear.
Absolutely.
But at least the town supported them, right?
Oh, yeah. The community really rallied around them.
Yeah, glad to hear that.
Yeah, it shows that even in the darkest times, people can come together.
That's true.
And hopefully that helped them in some way.
Yeah, hopefully.
They deserved all the support they could get.
They really did. But, it's interesting. We've talked about the victims, the suspects, the investigation. But what about the motive?
The motive, yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Do we have any idea why this happened?
There are theories, of course.
What kind of theories?
Well, some people think it was a crime of passion.
Right.
Maybe someone was jealous of Sue Sharp or angry with her.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with those rumors about her and Smart.
Exactly. But then there's the theory about multiple attackers, which makes things even more complicated.
How so?
Well, if there were multiple people involved, it could have been a robbery gone wrong, or maybe even something related to organized crime.
Organized crime in Keddie. Really?
There were whispers,
Oh.
about drug trafficking and other illegal activities happening in the area.
Wow, I had no idea.
It was a different time back then. A lot of things went on under the radar.
I guess that makes sense. Small town, everyone knows everyone, easy to hide things.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are the theories about law enforcement messing up.
Like a cover-up.
Some people believe that, yeah.
It's hard to know what to believe,
It really is. There's so much we still don't know.
But that's what makes this case so fascinating.
Absolutely. It's like a puzzle that's missing half its pieces, and the pieces we do have, they don't quite fit together.
And yet, we keep trying to solve it.
We do. It's human nature, isn't it? To want to make sense of the senseless?
Yeah, I guess so. But, even after all this time, after all the investigations and theories, there's still this lingering question.
What's that?
What really happened that night in Cabin 28?
We may never know for sure.
It's crazy to think about,
Yeah.
that something so horrific could happen, and we might never have all the answers.
It is, but that's the nature of some mysteries. They defy explanation.
But that doesn't mean we stop searching, right?
No, of course not. The search for truth is never in vain.
Even if it takes decades, even if it seems impossible.
Especially then, because for the victims, for their families, the truth matters.
It's all about getting them justice, giving them peace.
Exactly. That's what keeps us going, the hope that someday, somehow, the truth will come to light.
And that the people responsible for this will be held accountable.
That's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
It is. And until then, the Keddie Cabin Murders remain a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places, and that some wounds never truly heal.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A chilling reminder.
So thank you for joining me for this deep dive into the Keddie Cabin Murders.
It's my pleasure.
It's a case that continues to fascinate and horrify, a tale of tragedy, mystery, and the enduring search for justice.
A search that will hopefully one day lead to the truth.
We can only hope. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Twisted Crimes on CrimePod Castle. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to CrimePod Castle and our YouTube channel.